an eerie atmosphere, large landscapes, a surprisingly mature cast. All can be found in the third mainline entry of the Xenoblade Chronicles series, which made its way exclusively to the Nintendo Switch late July of 2022. I wasn't sure what to expect as someone who came off Xenoblade Chronicles 2 with a bitter taste in my mouth. But 130 hours later, I can say Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is my second favorite entry of the Xeno series. If you're new here, I've played all the Xeno games except Saga and Torna, but at least I own Torna. Xenoblade is a series I tend to have a love-hate relationship with. Love 1, didn't care for 2. X's exploration was great. And that was it. But Xenoblade 3 takes the best of both games and puts them into one. Before we begin, it's important to know you do not need to be familiar with Xenoblade 1 or 2 to understand 3. However, certain reveals won't land. We follow the life of Noah, an off-seer, aka a person who sees off the dead. Two entities collide, destroying the world around them. Kevez and Agnes, two nations locked into a war. Each of the sides need life itself to live. They steal each other's lives to fill their flame clocks, while the essence stolen leaves only a husk. The colonies fight to live and live to fight. A special operation is underfoot where some unknown figures are carrying something of great import. Both sides, Kevez and Agnes, hunt for MacGuffin, only for each side's special forces to unexpectedly team up against an unknown creature, Mobius. The corrupted creature labels the special forces as an enemy to the world, requiring them to join together and travel to Sword March, where the answers of the never-ending war between nations lie. Out of all the Xeno games, 3 excels in developing a dismal tone. Our cast surrounded by constant death, reminded that they're in an endless war. It's surprisingly mature, doing away with quote-unquote anime nonsense and over-the-top bits. The cast feels more grounded, and that helps secure 3's melancholy tone. Plus, it made touching moments that much brighter in 3's dark setting. Our cast consists of 3 members of Kevez, the lead Noah, Uni, a sassy woman who doesn't take anyone's shit, and Lance, the butt of every joke. And the honorary Nopon, Riku, who's a master of gems. And the other 3 from Agnes, Mio, an off-seer, Tyon, the brains of the operations, super logical, and my least favorite, Senna, who has insecurities to go through, and their honorary Nopon, Manana, the chef. As an adult, I find wanting more adult casts. They're more reliable and make rational decisions, and Xeno 3 really delivered on this front. Yes, we had Lance, who sported the himbo role, and a cute Nopon such as Manana, but they were far from letdowns. Even the goofballs had some trauma to overcome. Now, here's the thing, this kind of made me miss some of the anime bullshit. Playing through sometimes, I was like, damn, are all adults this muted? Because the cast was so practical, it sometimes felt like normal dudes talking to other normal dudes, rather than the typical loud anime tropes that often complemented and contrasted against one another. This cast I liked more than not. Senna is easily the weakest link. Her arc is about finding herself, and by the end of the game, I still felt like I never knew more than her being the girl with the gall.
I'm the girl with the gall.
Xeno 3 also left something to be desired. A little more zest, I think, would do this group some good. Also, I wish there was a tinge more romance. As pairings form over time and more things are uncovered, I would have enjoyed a few more crumbs of courtship. Then there are the villains. Mobius, a group of weirdly dressed baddies with various personalities who can all transform into a large creature, and of course, a mysterious leader. I didn't care for Mobius as characters at all. Most were one note, uninteresting, and because there were many, they didn't have a lot of time to shine and develop. Which is sad because one of Xenoblade's greatest strengths are its villains. That said, I do like what Mobius represents. A loop, endlessness, being trapped. The idea of hopelessness, which not only complemented the theme, but made an excellent counter to Ouroboros. A symbol usually depicted as a snake eating its tail, symbolizing unity, nature's cycle, something that will never disappear, but gradually change. Alright kids, buckle up, because this is where we get into the fatty meat and potatoes of this review. Xenoblade 3 is massive, loaded with improvements, and a few drawbacks. Xenoblade 3 is a pretty easy game, and if you find yourself in need of a challenge, difficulty can be changed anytime. The combat works similarly to an MMO. Enemies are on the map, and if within their level range or higher, will target you. There are various types of enemies seen by the designs next to their name. If it sparkles, it's an enemy that will drop rare items. Blue is an elite enemy, essentially stronger versions of the standard enemy, and orange, which is a unique enemy, and they are exceptionally powerful. When in battle, you automatically attack. You'll see you're in range by the attack icon. This arrow shows your positioning to the currently targeted enemy, as some arts deal stronger attacks depending on your relation to the enemy. Arts are strong attacks. After using one, you must wait for them to recharge over time. Talent arts are stronger than normal arts. They can be activated once their gauge is full. Talent arts are recharged by performing actions expected of a character's role, aka role actions. The roles are Attacker, dealing heavy damage based on positioning, Defender, a tank who draws aggro, and a Healer who, you guessed it, heals, buffs the party, and is the only role that can revive teammates. If you meet the requirements of arts that give you bonus effects for your position, the talent art flashes, signifying it's charged up a lot. Canceling arts is when you link one art into another, shown by a blue flash. This makes combat fluid and allows damage to be dished out quickly. Fusion arts lets you combine arts with its paired master arts effect, when both are recharged, dealing an attack that has both arts effects. A common strategy is Xenoblade's signature Break Topple Daze path. Break allows the enemy to be toppled. A toppled enemy flounders about, unable to attack. Following that is Daze, where they will always get hit and the attackers will not receive any aggro. However, there are other paths to take that you will uncover as you progress. Weaponize these satisfying combos to effectively tear down your opponents. But wait, there's more. The power of Ouroboros or interlinking. This is where you turned into that cool monster thing. Out of your main 6 party members, each can interlink with one another, creating different types of Ouroboros. A healer, attacker, and tank. Each excel at their given purpose, but also dish stupid amounts of damage. Ouroboros has 3 levels, which rise based on how many fusion arts you execute. The higher your level, the more damage you do. You're in this form until your gauge runs out, and you poof right back. I also found interlinking to be a great safeguard for when you're about to die. Just know when you come out of it, you'll have the same amount of HP you had when you entered that form. Chain attacks. Freeze your enemy in place, deal big number damage, buff, debuff, combo, and heal your party. How to fill the chain attack gauge is by using talent arts, combos, and canceling arts. Essentially, doing battle right. The goal here is to get the highest amount of TP, or tactical points, in a single round. Getting 100 TP reactivates one random character. Bravo at 150 brings 2, and Amazing at 200 gets 3. Getting 100 plus TP also allows to successfully pull off a chain order, aka completion bonus. Each character has a different completion bonus, such as attacks during a chain attack gain 100% chance to bypass defense, or ether attacks do more damage, or lower attack and healer aggro, etc. If you successfully complete an order, you do extra damage, get the completion bonus, and you do the same thing again. When characters are reactivated, they have more TP than before. Also, character roles play a part. Attackers get first blood damage if attacking first. Using defenders to end an order guarantee the character with the highest TP will be returned to you, and healers cannot go over 99 TP. And that's the gist of chain attacks. I know this sounds like a lot to keep track of, but once you do it a few times, you catch on, I promise. I didn't know what I was doing at first either. Ouroboros can join in on chain attacks too. This time, your entire party is reactivated. But note, if you do these, it will end the chain attack, even if you only completed one order. Furthermore, you can perform 2 Ouroboros chain attacks if your interlink level hits 3 during battle. But also, I find I do more damage starting outside of Ouroboros. Out of all that, we still haven't come to my favorite thing about Xenoblade Chronicles 3. You know I'm a sucker for a good-ass class system. As you adventure, you meet heroes who will join you on your journey. Get their quest shown by a gold question mark turned yellow quest marker, and you'll know you're on the path to getting a new hero and class. A new class means new ways to play, build your character composition, and have each class hone in on their special role. Like the Zephyr class is an evasion tank, you want to focus on agility, whereas the Guardian Commander is a face tank, and also takes damage for low HP allies. Now building and prep work. Build your character with pairing master arts, which are learned by mastering classes. Choose your regular arts, accessories, equipping gems based on your role, and spending SP, or soul points in your soul tree. These are branches that granted active and passive skills while in interlink mode. Classes are initially maxed out at level 10, but if you happen to visit colonies and find another gold question mark, perhaps investigate to up a hero level cap from 10 to 20. While raising class levels, you'll gain master arts and master skills, which can be combined with other classes, hence building your own character. I loved this. Although playing on normal, you don't really have to min-max, but don't you worry, super bosses absolutely await.
Up to you.
Eyes over here!
You're a lifesaver.
Hey!
So yes, you'll have a grand total of 7 people traveling with you at once. And note, heroes will never be as strong as your main party, as you cannot customize a chunk of their loadout. Honestly, I found most of the time I kept a healer in the extra character slot simply because that's another body that can revive my main party. And while I'm here, let us all take a moment to acknowledge the squishy critical queen, Alexandria, as best girl, and for best boy, I think I'm gonna have to give it to Gray. I like myself a gritty man, dual guns, you can't go wrong. 7 characters is a lot and is bound to make a lot of chaos on screen. When battles got cumbersome, I noticed I was staring more at the position icon rather than the action on screen. That said, I loved having my entire party battling together. I personally wouldn't change it, the indicators were enough for me. But that doesn't mean there weren't a few areas that needed improvement. Mainly, bring back the auto-attacking while moving. They had it in Xeno 1, we miss it. 2, tutorials were super invasive, making you go through the motions, how to change class, how to equip gems, master arts, master skills. Listen, if you're new to JRPGs, then this tutorial is for you. If you're new to the Xeno series, maybe a tutorial or two could have been in order. At the end of the day, there should have been a skip option letting the player choose what they needed to be schooled on. A huge component of any Xenoblade game is the exploration, and 3 did a good job. The world is far from empty. We have various enemy types prowling about, especially the ones 10 times your level in the middle of nowhere. You know the one. Enemies sometimes interact with the world, leaving items behind. You can find containers of goodies. There's also amiibo support. You send off husks, discover ether mines to power up broken machinery, and as you uncover more heroes, they teach you better means of traveling, allowing you to gain access to new areas and discover secret areas. Because the world is large, Xenoblade does a great job getting you fast travel access fast. New locations, campsites, secret areas, and tombs of unique bosses are all points of fast travel. Skirmishes are new. 2 tribes of enemies fight and you could choose which side to be on and which rewards to claim. Silver coins which could be used to cook or level up classes, or experience and affinity points. Affinity levels show the relationship between you and a colony. You could raise these relationships by completing Collectopedia cards, sending falling soldiers, talking with anyone with a star, and completing quests regarding that colony. As a reward, you'll get passive party abilities like moving quicker or cooking effects last longer. Colony bonuses do stack, so be a good Samaritan and help Xeon grow his potatoes. Speaking on quests, I love that they're more story focused, adding more context to the individual colonies and their way of doing things. Now, completing side quests and discovering locations grants you experience that can be applied at campsites. Here you discuss information you've gathered and turn it into a quest. Or maybe the gang just talks about different colony traditions or foods. I'm not really too big on this. There's already so much to do, and quests have you running to and fro anyways, so the fact the team has to go back to the campsite and discuss, why can't an automatic cutscene happen? It just felt a little too extra for me. Also, at the campsite you can craft gems, cook meals for temporary buffs, wash up, and gain access to your bonus XP. Using this pocket experience will absolutely overlevel you. And a strange thing is, you can't lower your level. That's locked behind post-game, which is a weird move. I'm a firm believer in using the tools you're given, so I was overleveled for more than half my playthrough due to bonus experience, and being a side quest exploration junkie. That said, if you want any semblance of a challenge, don't touch your bonus experience. Now, there's a ton of side quests in this game, and frankly, the mapping does an okay job getting you where you need to go. There is a mini-map that can be expanded, green dots showing you what could be interacted with, but no marks of where you could gather possible information. Also, hero ascension quests only appear if you have that hero in your party, which threw me for a loop because I was like, how do I activate these? Until it finally hit me. There has been a huge improvement with a navigational assisting tool showing you exactly where you need to go, although it may not be the safest route. I had this on practically the whole time. While Xenoblade 3's world without a doubt had the most to do, I found the world of Aionios to be visually uninspired. Odd because it literally pulls from locations from its predecessors. There were few locations that had me pause and take in the beauty. Every Xenoblade is open, but how these environments are drawn up, how they take a forest or swamp and dazzle it up, or even strip it down. For having such beautiful lands to choose from, Xenoblade 3 kind of missed the mark for me. Now the people, gorgeous. I think the characters are beautiful. I love the different races, eye shapes. The artist in me loves the tinge of red along their eyelashes. You know, it's actually amazing how one-to-one the concept art and the graphics are. It looks like a direct translation from art to 3D model, and I appreciate that because, back in the day, we didn't always get that. And you know, they really went the extra mile on character portraits. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 types of portraits. Also, some people might have had frame rate issues. I didn't have many. I felt like the clipping of the hair and clothing to be more of a distraction than the frame rate. My biggest issue I ran into was the constant overheating while docked. Like the location, Xenoblade 3 paid homage to previous entries, and the music follows suit, with motifs and music from games past. All while injecting the flute as it's the core instrument of Xenoblade 3. Of course, it has its night and day themes. Day themes seem to be lively, whereas nighttime, it's more relaxing. This is one of my favorite area themes, the Alfeto Valley. While I appreciated the callbacks and the flute work, sometimes the flute got obnoxious. I was totally overhearing it about 30 hours in. I blame the first battle theme. But my favorite has to be the city, probably because the chanting reminds me of Nier. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is a beautiful game, filled with heartfelt moments, improved combat, and grounded characters. And while I do miss the weeb nonsense, it was invigorating to have a cast who felt the weight and struggles of their world was no laughing matter. I did get a little burnt out by the end, there being so many worthwhile side quests that build upon the bleak world. Speaking on expanding the world, Nintendo has already announced a Xenoblade Chronicles 3 expansion pass, detailing what's down the pipeline. For more Xenoblade goodness, be sure to check out my reviews of Xenoblade 1, the Definitive Edition, and Xenoblade 2. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, if you like what I do, consider joining the Patreon where you could vote on what games I play next, what top 5s I do, and join the Discord, and more.